those of you joining us on YouTube. We're going to start out just at standing, so when you're ready, come on up. And then for those of you joining in, guys, this is going to be a 60-minute power flow yoga class. So just line your feet up either on parallel or big toes together with some space between your heels. And then take a big inhale just to bring your shoulder heads high up towards your ears. And on your exhale, just roll your shoulders down away on the ears and the back. And we'll do that again. Inhale, lift your shoulder heads up high. Exhale, release down on the back. Cool, just close your eyes, relax your arms, and we'll take our 3-part breath. So release the air all the way down to empty. Breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe into your mid-abdomen, 1, 2, 3, and hold. Fill all the way up to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got your full breath, just relax. And then exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice, let's do it again. Breathe in, low belly, low back. Hold there. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Hold there. And then fill all the way up to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Hold the full breath, relax. Sip in a little more air to top it up. And that slow exhale to release all the way to empty. At the bottom of the breath, let your navel just tone back into your spine, finding that navel lock, Uddiyana Bandha. And then Ujjayi breathing, so inhale through the nose, slow and deep, like you're sipping the air in through a straw. And once you arrive at the full point, exhale back out through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror, so the muscles in the back of the throat controlling the entrance and the exit of the breath, creating that sound like hollow wind that you can pay attention to. And just by controlling our breath, we're practicing mindfulness. So you are starting to bring the activity of your mind from what happened earlier today to what's going on now, to fixing, solving, changing into the future, and bringing it into the present moment, into your body. So let your breath be your guide and just take what works for me. Blink the eyes open to a soft gaze up front. And on your inhale, just stretch your arms up nice and tall into mountain. On the exhale, hinge out from your hips and control your swan dive all the way down into your forward fold. Release the head at the bottom. Inhale halfway up, lengthen the spine. Push to your legs, tone your shoulder blades in, gaze down. Exhale, refold. Nice, take a ragdoll frame. Your feet can go to hip bone distance or a little bit wider. Opposite hand outside of opposite elbow or bicep. And just letting your torso gently sway side to side or lightly rock back and forth. Letting those exhales come in and help just to release out through the body here. Excellent. Release your arms from there, and vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly wind up. Let your head be the very last thing that stacks up. And when it does, inhale to reach your arms wide, stretch up tall. And on the exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center, rooting. Inhale to extend, reach up tall in space, breathe in. And on that exhale, hinge out from your hips and control your swan dive. Find your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine, tone your shoulder blades in. And then plant your hands, step back into your plank position, lower down onto hands and knees, and start to work into some cat and cow at your own pace. Cow working through that bow in the spine. Cat rounding your back, dropping your head. And just working your breath into this however it makes the most sense to you. And we talk about the breath being the guide. Right here, the length of the inhale, the length of the exhale is the guide for how you're moving your body in between these two shapes. Awesome. Start to wrap it up to a neutral flat back, hands and knees. And then turn the insides of your wrists to face the front of the room. Your thumbs are facing to the sides and your fingers to the back. And we'll take a few of these where on your exhales you can lean back, peeling your hands off the mat back to your fingertips. And then just roll slowly back forward. And really you can weave the breath in however you want here. Just take that a couple more times though. Rolling out the circle of the palm, getting into your wrist, getting into your forearms. And then after a few of those, just take the back of your hands into the mat. Your fingers can point in towards one another or point to the back of the room. And just take a little massage, pressing gently, rocking side to side on the hands or back and forth. And then before we join back into plank, just drop back into hero's pose, tops of the feet to the ground, sit bones back to your heels, and give a nice roll out through your wrists here, moving through your fingers. Awesome. We'll meet back up in plank. So when you're ready, step your toes to the back of your mat. Hips up on level with your shoulders. Hug into those core muscles. And then your tailbone is right in between going into cat and right in between going into cow. So we're finding just that tone, that flexion. Breathe in at the top, and on your exhale, slowly lower halfway down. And then inhale, lift back up. Awesome. Again, exhale, slowly lower halfway down, Chaturanga Dandasana. And then inhale, press back up. On this exhale, slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Press the tops of the feet to the ground. Slide your palms a little lower down your torso. Tone your shoulder blades in. And then just lift your chest up off the ground into low cobra. Find that length all the way through the back of your neck here. Little to no weight into your hands, staying with your breathing. You can feel the abdominal wall pressing to the ground, chest lifting. Nice. Take one more breath in, and on your exhale, we'll lower down. To make your way to downward facing dog, you can either move through tabletop or plank, shifting your hips up and back in space. And then just warm up your down dog. Just bend into one knee at a time. Maybe explore reaching your hips to the left or to the right, pulling back away from opposite hand. And feel into the surface area of your hands, spread into your fingers, root into the circle of your palm. Release the weight of the head. Let your biceps tone into center line as you microbend your elbows. And then push to the ground to push your hips up high. Lift through the core to lift the hips up high. Draw down through your heels, stretch through the legs, deep breath in. And on your exhale, bend your knees, look between the hands, and step or float up into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale brings us halfway up, lengthen through the spine, strengthen around it. On that exhale, refold. And this time, hold navel to spine and empty, and reverse swan dive, inhaling arms up wide and tall in space. And with your exhale, cactus your arms, take a baby back bend, lifting through the chest. Nice. Inhale, reach back up, lengthen. Bring the hands into your heart center on your exhale. So we'll root into the left foot, and on an inhale, just draw your arms and your right knee up into a one-legged mountain, so playing with your one-legged balance. Feel your big left toe pressing to the earth, and if you wobble, if you wiggle, no worries. Stay playful with it. On an exhale, we're going to take a vertical twist to the right. So reach your right hand behind you, and then your left hand can grab onto the top and outside of your right thigh and can pull against your right thigh to bring you into the twist. Gaze is over towards the left side of the room, or gaze is going back across your left shoulder. And as we breathe inside of the twists, exhales are those opportunities just to get a little bit deeper. Okay, awesome. On an inhale, just come back up forward, right knee is still lifted. And on your exhale, we're going to come down into a flying chair. So you'll set up kind of a regular chair to begin with, and then you fly your arms back, lift your heels up. You got it. Get up onto the balls of the feet. And like low cobra, let those shoulder blades just gently tone in towards one another. Elbows could slightly bend and lift back in space. Stay with your breath. Fantastic. So drop your right foot to the ground. Inhale to bring your arms and your left knee up into our one-legged mountain. So playing with the one-legged balance. Find the full lift up through the leg. The thigh bones plugging back into your body. And your next exhale, vertical twist now opens us over to the left side of the room, bringing left hand back. Right hand can grab onto the top outside of your left thigh. You can pull against it right up by the knee. Staying with that breathing. Get down to the end of the breath that you're on. And then we'll use that inhale just to come back up one-legged mountain. On the exhale, find your flying chair. So drop the feet down to the ground, reach your arms back, draw your heels off the ground on the balls of your feet. Feel it right up into your core muscles. And then we're going to keep on the balls of the feet. So inhale to rise up into mountain. Heels are still lifted. And on the exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center. Again, stay playful with your balance. Inhale to reach up into mountain. And on your exhale, just try a swan dive down into your forward fold with the heels lifted. The floor might come a little bit quicker than you think. Once you tap down, release your heels. Find the full forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through the spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Plant the hands, move back into your plank position. And then you've got your choice how you want to take your flow. So you could go right to down dog. We could exhale to chaturanga, going back into low cobra, or you could take Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog, pressing to the tops of the feet, lifting through your chest. And eventually all of those roads will meet us back in downward facing dog. Draw up to the hips. Stay with your breath. You're doing awesome. On an inhale, take the right leg up and back in space, three-legged downward facing dog. And watch if we're kind of sinking down into that left hip, just to also lift your left sit bone back and up in space. So think about lifting your left hip back and up in space as you reach and extend up through that right leg, strong through your arms. Nice diagonal line from the hands all the way back up through the foot. Right, on your next exhale, we'll step up into a low lunge position, so just work the right foot up in between your hands. And then we'll take that low lunge and rise up into our high crescent lunge when you're ready. Perfect. So feeling your right knee right above your right heel in space. Feeling those thighs toning in towards center line. And that back left heel is pulling forward as you're on the ball of the left foot. Drive down into your right heel. Feel the strength around your right knee, all the way to your right glute, pulling back up away. And on your exhale, we'll take a vertical twist to the right. So just reach your right hand behind you, left arm forward. Spine is straight up in space. And if you want, you can explore deepening the lunge, hovering your back knee just off the ground right here, increasing that strength through your legs. And again, inside of that twist, taking it all the way down to empty on those exhales. Right on, get down to the end of your breath. And then with your inhale, we'll open up to warrior two. So just reaching your left arm back in space, bringing that right arm forward. Feel free to lengthen out through your stance if you want, make adjustments. Your heels are on a balance beam from the front of your mat to your back. Right sit bone tucked underneath your body. Open up through the arms. You're active through both of your legs, although we've definitely got the focus on the right knee, the way we're supporting it. But nonetheless, feeling that press through your back left foot, your back left thigh. And then for triangle, start to straighten out your right leg. Breathe in. And on your exhale, just hinge forward, reach as far as you can. If you're working with a block, fantastic. You could put it on the outside of your right foot and press your hand into it. Otherwise, your hand can connect to your shin, or your fingertips can go down to the ground. And then we're opening up through the wingspan here. So high-fiving that left wall with your left arm, with your left hand. Feeling those shoulder blades gently toned behind you. And then with your right leg, rather than having the knee locked, just a micro bend in it, so we're engaged around it. Very subtle difference while you're here. You can think about engaging just by pressing to the ground through your foot and drawing back up. And on an inhale, come back up into warrior two, and we'll just reverse the warrior on the exhale. So left hand to your hip thigh or behind you. Right arm reaches up tall in space. You could add a little bend into your right elbow if you want. Gaze could go up to the side or back down to your left foot. And use the strength of your legs below you here. Nice, Kate. Stay with the breath. So draw the inhale here, and on your exhale, just cartwheel the hands down to frame the right foot. Move on to the ball of the left. Step back, find a plank position, and then Vashisthasana side plank, your right hand will be your base. So you can go onto the outside edge of your right foot, right hand underneath your shoulder. You could kickstand it where you drop your right knee below your hip. You could also drop down onto your right forearm if you wanted to as well. Left hand can go to your hip, extend up, reach forward. The focus is on the hips drawing up away from the floor. So feeling into those oblique muscles. And then your vinyasa, so your choice of how you want to get down to down dog. So you go back into plank, shift directly back, lower halfway, low cobra, upward facing dog, and then eventually shifting back into our down dog. So we find our down dog once again. Find the engagement around it. Find your breath in it. You're doing great. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, you can bend the knees and step or float up into your forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through your spine, strengthen around it. Exhale, refold, and then reverse swan dive, inhaling to extend arms wide and tall. And as you exhale, just cactus open, baby back bend, lift through the chest. Inhale to reach back up in space, stretch. And then hands to your heart center on your exhale. Awesome. So let your right foot be your base. On an inhale, just draw your left knee up and find that one-legged mountain on this side. We're going to come back into these vertical twists. So we'll start to extend back through that left arm, forward through your right arm. An option if you want on this side, you can take your right hand and grab onto the outside of your left foot and then play with extending your left leg forward. And we don't need to get the leg totally straight. We do want to keep the spine straight in space, though, as we play with the extension through the leg. And that length is just something over time, over years, that will come into play. When you're ready, just come back into your regular one-legged mountain. You got to lift up through your arms and your knee, and then back into our flying chair on your exhale. Lifting through the heels, reaching back through the arms, drawing up through the elbows, staying with your breathing. Perfect. Left heel can lower down to the ground when you're ready. Draw arms and right knee up tall in space. And then vertical twist will now open us to the right. Right hand behind you. You can do what you did before, or left hand this time could grab onto the outside of your right foot, and you could play with extending that right leg forward. But again, keep the focus on your spine up nice and tall. Inhale to come back up, one-legged mountain, drop through arms and right knee, and then flying chair on the exhale. So drop the feet, lift the heels, take your arms back. Nice, Christine. We'll stay raised on the balls of the feet. Inhale, mountain pose. And on the exhale, just draw the hands down into your heart center. Inhale to extend, reach arms wide, stretch tall. And on the exhale, hinge out from your hips and take that swan dive, controlled. Once you come down, you can drop your heels and hands. Inhale halfway up to lengthen through your spine, strengthen around it. Plant your hands, come back to your plank, and then your choice of how you're going to take your vinyasa. Meeting again up in our downward facing dog. And then from this down dog, as you're ready, let's inhale, draw left leg back up in space. Find that three-legged down dog. And with the right hip, just letting the right hip pull up and slightly back in space, supporting the lift of your left leg, drawing back and up in space as you push through your heel. Find that hug of your biceps in, press into your hands. Okay, friends, your next exhale, just work the foot up in between your hands to a low lunge position. And whenever you've got that in place, we can take it and rise up into our high crescent lunge, bringing your arms up tall in space. Feeling that back right heel pulling forward, right thigh pulling forward, left thigh pulls back to meet it. Press down into your left heel, grip through your toes. Get nice and strong, and on your exhale, vertical twisting lunge to the left. So reach left hand behind you, right arm forward, spine straight up in space. If you want, you can start to hover that back right knee just up. You got it. Stay with your breath. Take one more inhale. You'll take it all the way down to the end of the breath to your exhale. And then we can open up to warrior two on the next inhale. So knife edge of the right foot to the ground. Any adjusting you want to do through your stance. Heels on that balance beam. Opening up through your arms. Finding that opening through your chest as well, so your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back as you gaze out over your front fingertips. Strength through both of your legs here. And then for our Trikonasana, our triangle, just lengthen out your front left leg, draw your breath in, and as you release, hinge forward, tilt down, take your left hand down to your shin, or down to the ground, or to your block, reach up through your right arm. Nice full wingspan of the arms here, high-fiving the right wall with your right hand. Find the strength in your legs, press into your left foot, draw back. And then on your inhale, we'll come up into our warrior two. And as you exhale, just reverse through your warrior, wrapping that right arm behind you or hand to your hip or your thigh. Reaching up tall through your left arm, stretching through your side body. Awesome. Breathe into it. And on your exhale, just cartwheel your hands down to frame your left foot. You'll turn onto the ball of the right foot. And then once we're in that low lunge, we're stepping back into our plank. And for side plank Vashisthasana, you're coming onto your left hand or your left forearm. Outside edge of your left foot. Again, you can also kickstand this with your left knee below your hip. Whatever variation you did on the other side with your top arm, let's take that here. Lifting up away from the ground as you press into it. Just feeling it in those side body muscles. Awesome, Celeste. And when you're ready, friends, we're going to move through our Vinyasa. So again, your choice of how you're going to make your way into downward facing dog. Couple rounds of breath here. Staying engaged in the pose. Breathe into it, and on your exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and then step or float up, forward fold to the top of your mat. Inhale brings us halfway up, lengthen through your spine, strengthen around the shoulders. Exhale, refold, and then reverse swan dive. Inhaling, arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, cactus your arms open, baby back bend. Inhale to reach your arms back up tall into mountain. And on the exhale, draw your hands into your heart center. Okay, so we're going to take that breath to movement. So just do your best with it. Have fun with it. You're going to have your left foot as your base. So on your inhale, draw your arms and your right knee up nice and tall. Breathe in. And as you exhale, take a vertical twist over to the right. Inhale brings you back up tall in space. And on your exhale, we'll come down to that flying chair. So on the balls of the feet, lifting your heels. Awesome. Switch things up. So drop into your right foot, inhale, arms and left knee up nice and tall in space. And as you exhale, take your vertical twist now over to the left. Inhale brings us back up one-legged mountain. And then flying chair on your exhale. You got it. Stay lifted. Inhale to rise up into Tadasana mountain. And on the exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center. Inhale to reach back up in the mountain. And on your exhale, just play with that swan dive on the balls of your feet. Drop the heels. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through the spine. Plant the hands, move to your plank, and then your choice how you want to take your vinyasa here. We're meeting up at downward facing dog. On an inhale, draw your right leg back up tall, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, just step up to your low lunge position. Work the foot up in between your hands. Our inhale brings us up into our high crescent lunge position, lifting up through the arms. And exhale, vertical twist to the right. So right hand behind you, left arm forward, maybe back knee hovers. Inhale is to your warrior two. So left arm back, knife edge of the left foot to the ground, right arm forward. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, just take the exhale here. Inhale for triangle, straighten out your right leg. And as you exhale, hinge forward, come down. So a big inhale to reverse your warrior, sweeping up and back through that right arm, left hand to hip thigh or behind you. And on your exhale, cartwheel down into your low lunge position. Nice. Step back to your plank pose. And then we'll take an inhale to Vashisthasana, so reaching up through your left arm. And then you can complete your flow to down dog, whatever you are working with, whatever you're choosing. Nice. Find your breath in downward facing dog. And then we're going to switch things up on the sides. So breathe into that down dog. And as you exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step or float into your forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale brings us halfway up, lengthen through spine, strengthen around it. Exhale, refold. And then reverse swan dive, inhale, arms wide and tall. And as you exhale, cactus it open, baby back bend. Inhale to reach your arms back up tall in space, gaze forward, and hands into your heart center on your exhale. We'll grab the other side of that. So right foot is your base. Inhale to bring your arms and your left knee up, one-legged mountain. And on your exhale, vertical twist to the left, left hand behind, right arm forward. Inhale brings us back up, one-legged mountain, gaze is forward. And on your exhale, take your flying chair, lift the heels, take your arms back. And then drop your left heel to the ground, inhale, arms and right knee up, one-legged mountain. And exhale, vertical twist to the right, so right hand behind you, left arm forward. Inhale to come back up, one-legged mountain, lifting through right leg. And then that flying chair on the exhale. Stay lifted off the heels. Inhale, Tadasana, mountain. And on the exhale, just draw your hands into your heart center. Inhale, reach up in the mountain, lift it through your heels. And on the exhale, take that slow, controlled swan dive, hugging into those core muscles. Drop your heels at the end of it. Inhale halfway up to lengthen through your spine. Plant your hands, step to your plank, and then your choice how you're going to flow into down dog. Nice. On an inhale, left leg pulls up tall in space. Breathe into it. And as you exhale, step up into your low lunge position. Inhale brings us into our high crescent lunge, reaching up through your arms. And on your exhale, vertical twist to the left. Let your back knee just hover off the ground if you'd like. Okay, inhales to warrior two. Right arm back, knife edge of the right foot to the ground. Stay here for the exhale. Feel into it. Inhale, straighten out your front left leg. And on your exhale, hinge forward and tilt down for triangle, lifting up through right arm. Inhale, big motion into reverse warrior, sweeping up through your left arm. And on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to your low lunge position. Step back to plank when you're ready. And then just an inhale into side plank. Left hand is your base. And from here, your own flow, your choice of how you want to flow, meeting up in our downward facing dog. Okay, let your air all the way down to empty. Slow, deep breath fills us up. And then sigh out the mouth. Awesome. Lower down to your knees. Drop one of your hips to the ground. Bring your legs forward. We're going to meet up on our back, but this is a great time if you want to grab a drink of water, to grab a sip of water. And then we'll do some core work on our backs. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go through movement, hold, and movement in a few different positions. So the first position is going to be with your legs up in space. And these are going to be where we'll do toe touch crunches. So you're lifting up to touch your toes and then lowering back down. So when you're ready, let's go for it. We're going to take 15 seconds of movement, and then we'll hold and then do another 15 of the movement. Stay with your breath. Okay, so next time you come up, we'll hold. And if you need support, just throw one or both hands back behind the base of your skull. Feel that lift up through your core muscles. Stay with your breathing. And then back into it, just another 15 of those, 15 more seconds rather, of those toe touches. Exhales as you lift up. Inhales, reset. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice, fun. Supta Baddha Konasana. So bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let your knees open up wide, our reclined cobbler's pose. Relax the weight of your head. Place your hands wherever it feels comfortable. And just find your breathing. Perfect. The next one is going to be a leg lift. And the variation we'll take is called in, up, and down. So you can start with your legs extended out onto a diagonal. Feet are together. Low back is rooted to the ground. And head and shoulders could be down with your arms down, or you can lift head and shoulders. And then when you're ready, let's start this. So inhale to bring your knees in, and exhale to reach your legs straight up and back to your diagonal. Keep that movement going at your own pace, and stay with your breath. Nice job. Okay, next time you come out to that diagonal, hold your legs out on the diagonal. Right on, and then go back into your in, up, downs. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a full morning stretch as you lower your legs down to the ground. Relax the weight of your head. You can give a roll out into your ankles, into your wrists. Move into your fingers, move into your toes. Nice deep breathing. And then the last core work we'll do is up in Navasana, up in boat pose. So when you're ready, just bring your knees to your chest, grab your hamstrings. And if you want, for a few rounds, we can just take that rock that moves from the base of your skull, takes you all the way up into your sit bones. And then eventually, we try to catch ourselves up on our sit bones. All right. Cross through your ankles once you're up, and we're going to do row twist to the sides. So you start whenever you're ready, but taking those twists and weave your breath in. Try to keep lifted up through your chest, lengthen through your spine. All right, we'll hold our boat at the middle. You can uncross, Pull against the hamstrings if you want, or arms open, knees bent, or legs lengthened. Shoulder blades pulling in towards one another. Heads relaxed down away from the ears. Find your breathing. Perfect. Cross back through your ankles and then work back into another round of those twists. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to come all the way forward through tabletop into Sphinx Pose. So you can slide your legs all the way to the back of your mat, tops of the feet to the ground. We can press into the forearms. Take a big stretch for your back, a big stretch for your abdominal wall. You can leave length all the way up through the back of the neck here. And if you'd like to follow me on this, on your next exhale, take a twist across your right shoulder. And if you're twisting over to one side, on your next exhale, just slowly twist over to the other side. And then you could bring your head back to center and leave it upright, or it can feel really nice. Let the weight of the head fall forward. Find some cat in your shoulders, your upper back. Release down to the ground. And then to make your way to down dog, we can either take that move through tabletop or that move through plank, shifting our hips up and back in space. Once you're there, friends, inhale your right leg back up, three-legged down dog. And then we'll open the hip and bend the knee, so make a scorpion tail with your right leg. Stay lifted and back through your left hip. Left heel is pointing to the wall behind you. Just watch you're not dipping too deep into your shoulder. Fantastic. So if you want to do wild thing, you can stay right here. If you want to do wild thing, you're going to pivot with your left hand, flip the dog, plant the right heel underneath the right knee. You can stay onto the outside edge of the left foot like Shavasana side plank, or left heel below your left knee. Hips lift up, right arm reaches forward, gaze can come up. Drawing up through those hips as you press down through the legs. If you're in wild thing, just nice and slow, make your way back to a three-legged down dog. Everybody inhale the right leg back and up. And on the exhale, step up into a low lunge position. We'll find a warrior one from here. So knife edge of the left foot to the ground. You can leave your heels on the balance beam, or you can open your heels up onto railroad tracks a little bit wider. Twist through the hips, and then really feel that strength down into the back, that back left leg, that back left foot. So feel that left quadricep is toned up. Draw the arms up, face forward. Breathe into it. And on your exhale, just swim your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers at your knuckles. And then for humble warrior, inhale the knuckles down as the chest lifts. And as you exhale, dive your right shoulder towards the inside of your right thigh. You can hover above it, can rest on it, or find its way to the inside. Weight of your head is relaxed and released. Elbows can bend slightly to reach forward as the knuckles reach up. And then the heels of your palms can be separated, or you could have the heels of your palms closer in towards one another. Stay with your breath. On an inhale, rise back up. Find your way into that warrior one. And then we're going to make moves from warrior one into a one-legged mountain. So bringing your arms and your left knee up in space. And then from this one-legged mountain, the last pose we're going to take is figure 4. It's a one-legged chair. So your left ankle goes over the top of your right thigh. It's also a hip opener. And then you go into the one-legged chair in your right leg. So tone up around that right knee. Tone up all the way through that right leg. Lower leg, upper leg, finds your glute. Hands can go to heart. One hand to knee, one hand to heel. There's tons of fun variations to play with. So if there is a different way you want to go with this, please feel free to take it. Last couple. Can you rise back up to your one-legged mountain? Take your deep breath in. And on your exhale, we're going to swim all the way back into a low lunge position. So hands to frame the right foot, ball of the left foot to the ground behind us. Step back into your down dog. Perfect. And then from this down dog, we'll inhale to reach the left leg back up tall in space to a three-legged down dog. And then you can open the hip and bend the knee to a scorpion tail on this side. Find that strength in your right shoulder. And then if you want to do our wild thing, we're going to pivot with that left or the right hand rather, and then flip over. You've got your left heel underneath your left knee, right leg is extended like side plank, or right heel underneath the right knee, lift up through the hips, reach up forward through the arm, gaze can come up or fall back. If you're in wild thing, just turn back to your three-legged down dog, lift that left leg up, everybody breathe in, and then low lunge on your exhale. Okay, knife edge of the right foot to the ground, rise up into your warrior one, and then make your adjustments. So if you want to widen your heels out from one another a little bit, we can take that, add a little bit of that width. Feel that press off of your back right foot. Feel that right hip coming forward. The strength through both of your legs. On your next exhale, just swim your hands behind you, interlace your fingers at your knuckles. Inhale, knuckles down as chest lifts up. And then exhale to bow forward, humble warrior, left shoulder inside of your left thigh. Hovering or resting on it as well. Weight of the head, just relaxed here. Awesome breathing. So take your inhale to come back up into your warrior one. And then we're going to use that warrior one just to step up and find our one-legged mountain. So bringing your arms and your right knee with you. And then from the one-legged mountain on this side, we'll take that same one-legged chair, figure four. So playing with your balance, taking the ankle and crossing it over your thigh, dropping the weight back, finding the tone around your left leg. Hands into heart center, one hand to knee, one hand to heel. And let your right toes flex a little bit in towards your shin and your right knee flex down. That's the hip opener part, like reclined pigeon. Last couple here. Nice, so rise back up into your one-legged mountain, bring the arms and the right knee. And on your exhale, we're gonna swim all the way back into a low lunge position. So bringing the hands down, bringing the ball of the foot down. Step back into our last downward facing dog. Find that lift back up through your hips, draw down through your heels, strengthen through your arms. And on your exhale, you can just drop your knees rather down to the ground. Drop one of your hips to the ground, swing your legs forward in space. For a seated forward fold, just bring your heels all the way up to the top of your mat, and then walk back through your sit bones a little bit. Have a little bit of a bend to your knees as we lengthen the arms up, and it's just like you were doing mountain pose. You're just doing it from the front edge of your sit bones. Breathe in, and then on that exhale, hinge out from your hips and dive the hands for the shins, ankles, feet. On an inhale, staying connected to the legs, just lift up through your chest and gaze like you're on a road bike. And then with your exhale, refold, and then we can increase or decrease the bend in the knees as it feels good to you as you hold. Using those full rounds of breath. inhale just to reach your arms up tall in space. Breathe in. And on the exhale, take your hands through your heart center down into the mat at your sides. Slide your hips up, and then just plant your feet to the ground. Reach the arms forward, and use your core strength to vertebrae by vertebrae. Lower down onto your back for bridge pose. So once your head taps down, step your heels in a little closer till your fingers can brush against the back of the heels. And then with the feet at hip bone distance, press down into the feet. Grip through all of your toes, press down into your triceps, and draw up through the hips. You could bend the elbows at 90 or any other variation you want with your arms. Shoulder blades can step in a little closer towards one another, making that shelf for your heart. Weight of the head's relaxed, gaze is up, just stay with your breathing. Almost there. So your next exhale, just vertebrae by vertebrae, roll down into the ground. Draw your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your knees, and give yourself a little bit of a rock out, massaging out your hips, your low back, and your sacrum. Nice, and then take your left foot to the ground and cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. So we'll take Reclined Pigeon. Bring your left knee towards you and interlace your hands either around the hamstring or the shin on the left leg. Add a little bit of flexion of your right toes back towards your shin. Your right knee can flex a little bit forward in space. And I love adding the side-to-side rocking on your back while you're here. Weight of the head just stays nice and relaxed. Find your breath. And then take your left leg flat out in front of you and reach your right leg straight up in space. Slide your hands to the back of the right leg and just move through your ankle. Feel into your toes, into the arch of the foot, into the top of the foot, into the heel, into the ball of the foot. And then for your vertical twist, your reclined twist, it is your choice if you want to bend the knee at this point and have your left hand grab the outside of the knee, or if you want to keep the leg extended and reach the left leg over to the side. Either way, you're going to end up on the outside edge of your left hip, and then reach your right arm out to the right and let your right shoulder relax down towards the ground and gaze out across your fingertips. Stay with your breath. Come onto your back, bring your knees to your chest, wrap your arms around your knees, and just give yourself a little bit of a rock side to side. We'll switch up our Reclined Pigeon to just right foot to the ground, left ankle over the top of your right thigh. You can bring your right knee up towards you, grab onto the hamstring or the shin on the right leg. Left toes just flexing towards your left shin. Left knee gently flexes forward. And just maybe take a little bit of that side to side rock. Weight of the head just relaxed here. From our reclined pigeon, take the right leg flat out in front of you. Reach your left leg straight up in space and just take your hands to the back of your left leg. And find that same roll out through your ankle here. Movement through your toes. And then your choice, keep the left leg lengthened or bend the knee. Roll onto the outside edge of your right hip. Right hand is grabbed outside of the leg or outside of the foot. Left arm opens out to the left. Your gaze goes out across your fingertips. Left shoulder relaxing towards the ground. And just letting your breath just weave its way through the twist. Snake its way through the twist. And then we'll just wrap things up on our back. You can bring your knees to your chest, wrap your arms around your knees. Give yourself just that little side to side rocking. If you want to, we could move this into our happy baby. Peace on fingers, big toes, or hands to the edges of your feet. Let your knees open wide. And then just stack your ankles above your knees so the soles of the feet are shining to the sky. Pull down on the frame with your arms, rooting the low back, grounding the low back into the mats, and then just give a side to side rock. Weight of the head stays relaxed. And then make your way into your final resting pose, your corpse posture, Shavasana. So just lying flat down on the ground, relaxing the weight of the feet, the weight of your arms. Make yourself super comfortable. And then you can let go of controlling your breath and just allow your body to take back over on the breath. And the idea is we create that physical stillness, and then we invite our mind and we invite our emotions into that same place of peace, that same place of stillness. I don't condemn, I don't convert. This is the calling, have you heard? Bring all the lovers to the fold. No one is gonna lose their souls. Well, all my days I've been searching to find out what this life is worth. Or through the books I've looked, and through time I've searched, and love is my religion. Well, love is my religion. Oh, love is my religion. And all we need is love. So don't let nobody stop us. We're free spirits after soar. With you I share the gift. The gift that we never know. Oh, I don't wanna fight. Hey, let's go fly a kite. Well, there's nothing we can cure. Well, I'll hold you in my arms for sure. And love is my religion. Well, love is my religion. Oh, love is my religion. Well, all we need is love. Well, all we need is love. Well, all we need is love. So just start to bring some life back into your body. You could take a full morning stretch. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can roll out your ankles and your wrists. And then from your back, turn the weight of your body onto your side. Take a fetal position. Curl up and find a nice deep round of breath. We'll complete our practice up in a cross-legged position or whatever pose is most comfortable to you. And as you come up, close through your eyes, internalizing your experience. And then just to support the full length in your spine, scoot yourself to the front edge of your sit bones, pulling the flesh away or walking back. Once you're at that point, inhale to lengthen your arms wide, stretch up tall. And on your exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center, thumbs back towards your sternum. It's been my pleasure to lead you through your practice. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste.